Hi there! That's right, guess who? It's the absolutely amazing, fantastic, divine Nick Dutch back on the camera again one more time for another delightful tarot show. Big thanks to everybody who submitted your requests via both YouTube private message as well as via the new method, which is via my Gmail email account, which is quite simply nickdutchtarot@gmail.com. And I thought what I'd do is I'd use that email address much more because it's more convenient for people. So if you got more requests, send them through by all means. Now we've got so many requests coming through. Yes, there's going to be a backlog, but don't worry about that. I am just going to crack on and try and get as many of these things done as I possibly can within my limited time that I've got to do this stuff. But essentially, you know, it's basically going to happen. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. Just a very quick thing before I go straight in, okay? I have had a lot of people suggesting to me, like, Nick, I do want to have a video tarot reading, but I want it to be private. Now, as far as, like, can I do that for you for free? Basically, no. But I've got, like, another website which is called tarotreadingshop.co.uk, and there you've got the access and the ability to be able to submit a request to me. And what we can do is we can use your own YouTube account. Get yourself a YouTube account set up, and I can create a video and I can send it to you private, so only you can view it, okay? If you purchase via the Tarot Reading Shop, there should be a link in the information box. So, and of course there's one other website as well for people who are, you know, interested in working for me, you know, as a tarot reader. If you are someone who's good at internet promotion and you want to get yourself, you know, the ability, the functionality to be able to, like, get on the phone with somebody, okay? And also for any of you out there who want to have a telephone tarot reading with people I've already engaged with and I already know are basically okay. So, you know, the links are all down there. Let's crack on with the first reading of today. Okay, Mario, thank you very much for getting that private message through to me. Yes, I'm going to tackle yours first because I feel like it, and it's in the rota in the right order, okay? So here we go. Now, you got this, like, potential relationship situation. You want to make sure it's going to work out okay and according to plan. These things are always important. Let's have a quick look. Obviously, I'm shuffling like crazy. For the most part, if the cards aren't on the table, I'll normally be shuffling to make sure we got a nice random reading. Here we go. Let's have a quick look. Right, I mean, your question was, would you be blissful for this person? Am I seeing signs of bliss? Well, there's some signs of passion there, yes, but we've got plenty of, in the mid-term future, fiery, passionate signs. I mean, the way it's working out, short-term, mid-term, and long-term, I'll just quickly show this to you in the right order. There you go. Short-term, solid, earth signs, foundation, okay, stability. Not necessarily the need to communicate in depth, but definitely a need to communicate to make sure you got that, you know, stability in place. Going towards, you know, the physical side of things straight away, good thing, bad thing, difficult to say, but the passion is mid-term future, so it's not happening immediately. Long-term future, you've got the potential to turn what could be like a short-term passionate interconnection into something which has the potential to be bigger, better, stronger. Forces between the two of you at the moment, great potential for success, okay, so that's looking very good for you. Signs on their side of things, be careful. Be careful. This is someone who's going to be sensitive and possibly a little resentful of men, full stop. So just be aware of that, okay? So try and be better than anyone else that's basically out there. Signs on your side of things, yes, you're willing to chase her, you know, you're willing to work real hard there. But there's also a sense of being a bit too controlling at times. So that's something you're going to have to, like, deal with to allow the whole relationship to start developing. Now, you also mentioned very briefly your spiritual developments and entering into a spiritual path you feel comfortable with. I personally think that the text that you chose has a few issues, shall we say. Okay, you mentioned the text to me. I personally think it's got a few issues, and there may well be other sources out there. You might just as well see yourself as being an eclectic individual until you wish to start settling down, spiritually speaking, and start working out which particular path, which particular label, identity, and all the rest of that, you know, you really want to go for. So bear that in mind for the moment. But essentially, if you're already looking into these things, I'm pretty convinced you'll actually find, you know, find the right way with the passage of time. And yes, I've just drawn the Hierophant card for you, which essentially means that you will be able to develop a good spirituality that works for you and that won't basically interfere with the normal flow of life. Hello, Alex. Very curious inquiry you've given me there. You're talking about having a bit of writer's block for the book series that you're, you know, you're planning on, with all, like, the various different characters and different styles of characters you've got. Let's try and tackle this from a different point of view. Okay, you're more or less inquiring which particular storyline you should write. But essentially, I don't think you should be thinking like that. I think you should be thinking of allowing the storyline to develop itself and to feel free and not worry about having to do a few rewrites on the way. Alright, I mean, that would be a wise way of doing it. Okay, if it takes a bit longer, it takes a bit longer. But you want to create a work of art, then you want to create a work of art. So let's have a quick look and see whether you can create a work of art and a work of art that will work with you. Let's have a quick look. Okay, great. Now, if you are being an artist, a writer, or whatever like that, these are the right kind of signs for yourself, because we got signs of inspiration coming through in the moon card, okay, coming from your subconscious mind, using all that like pent-up well of knowledge stuff which you've got deep down inside you, inside your heart, okay, as well as a strong sense of a passionate desire to connect with the style of writing that you want to do. Of course, the here and now, the prudence card coming out there, suggesting that you can't quite get there, you can't do it now, because you want to be cautious about how you go about this. But what I would suggest is, even if you start writing the 2 books simultaneously or 2 storylines simultaneously, either you can cross them over into one big thing, or alternatively, you can allow the ideas to flow between the 2 of them. So essentially, basically just get on and do it. I mean, we got signs of action, we got signs of something of the down-to-earth nature. There's a strong feeling of pens and paper and writing and trying to get on with something here. So essentially just allow a storyline to evolve, and then you can edit it, change it, develop it. But essentially, it's all got to start with getting some ideas down, even if it involves rewriting some aspects of different stories that other people have used. Okay, getting the right life balance is required there. Something about this tells me that your writer's block is being caused by the fact that you don't quite have that self-esteem that's necessary, that being in the right place at the right time that's necessary to actually feel happy about developing the right quality of writing style itself. So you still need other things to do and other sources of inspiration. Check out art galleries, check out museums, look into different sources of fiction, just to give you that extra to the side of your head, okay? Now, just to make sure you can start the gear wheels turning and you can start getting those thoughts flowing. So take that into account, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be successful. And for yourself, yes, I've drawn signs relating to self-actualization, completion, wholeness, and a sense of progression, movement, something dynamic inside you being put into action. Okay, Barred Rats, that's a great channel name, okay? Alright, you're interested in basically whether you're going to get the job within the industry that you want, and to see whether there's going to be any romance coming. Let's have a quick look and see what's coming through for you. We're already having a bit of variety today. I like that. Variety is good. Spice of life. Alright, so what are the first signs I've got? Chronological reading. You're asking about the future. We're going to go chronologically. We're not going to Celtic cross it. We're not going to 8-card relationship spread it. We're looking chronologically. Let's have a quick look. Alright, now, are there signs of new beginnings? No, because you know where you want to go. You're already some way towards getting there, okay? Midterm future signs, 2 to 4 months down the line from now, that's when you'll be stable and secure. We've got the Hierophant coming out again, different meanings because it's a different question, different subject for all of you budding tarot readers out there. Take that into account. The nature of the question will affect the nature of the meaning which comes out, okay? And also, there are some signs relating to romance. Cup signs are always good, especially with a small spread, if you're talking about the possibility of starting something new. There's a good sense of there being pleasure there, so it's going to be a good physical attraction, which is then going to lead on to something bigger and better for yourself, not too far down the line. Contrary to a lot of people's readings, I think in your particular case, maybe the relationship, connection, or communication will start first, prior to the actual new job starting. So essentially it's the same kind of thing but working in a different way, okay? With a lot of people, and I'm sure you tend to find this when you watch some of my old videos, okay? The energy comes out, you got to get the job first, and then everything else will start progressing from there when you've got the confidence. You're already quite rich in confidence. You're already quite strong in that. It's now, now a question of the next big thing for yourself. Now, we got plenty of signs of action, determination, okay, overturning and destroying defeat. So maybe you've been feeling a bit bogged down by the fact you haven't got to where you wanted to get by now, Alright, don't let that get to you. Always start thinking about the bigger picture, the next big thing, and putting in the extra effort to get there. And yes, we do have some signs of victory. The bragging rights, as I often call it, these particular signs I've got here within this particular card is talking about you being able to turn around to other people after you've got successful, okay? And you're finally in the right place and saying, well, this is how I did it. It was quite easy for me. Which is actually a bit cheeky, because you might be saying it to people who basically haven't quite got there and aren't quite in that particular position of, yeah, everything's going to be okay, you know what I mean? So, enjoy being the person who's going to succeed, who's going to get there, and who's going to do well for yourself. Okay, Jennifer, you have got a good quality question for me there. A little long, but still a good quality question. You're with somebody, you've got back with them after a period of time, being away from each other, and the same kind of behavioral patterns are occurring. You're finding that too hard, and yeah, you've got a right to find it hard, because basically it's hard. Okay? There is a danger of that happening in some relationships, and basically you move apart, you think you've had a bit of time to grow, you get back, and all of a sudden the same stuff's going on in the background, and basically, you're not quite geared to it or tuned to it, and you think to yourself, no, I've got to move on. And your question to me was, do you get out? And basically, is there someone else coming in? Well, let's have a quick look for you, shall we? Okay, we're going to wait card relationship reading this one on him to see basically what's coming through there, and then we'll basically expand it and see what else is happening. Okay. Yeah, good sense of consistency. He's someone who's got his head in the clouds. He thinks he's quite happy and all the rest of it, but basically, he's proud of himself, in here and up here, and that's basically detracting from all the good stuff you could actually create for the situation between the two of you. Now, don't get me wrong, he does love you, but that's a problem. Oppressive atmosphere. On your side of things, you're feeling the negativity there, so essentially, it's not very happy. Now, the progression into the future is very peculiar, because there is another male significator there, there is a sense of connectivity, and there's also a sense of you being the one who's going to end up in control. The Emperor is very similar to the Empress card, which, it means essentially being the person who is powerful, in charge, in control, makes things happen. This is your reading. I think that's to do with yourself and your energy and not his. And then your midterm future is talking about being in a state of love or connectivity with something or someone or a group of people, and a sense of society or community around you. And of course, this other male significator. So, do you get out? Basically, it looks like it could happen. Alright, it looks like it can happen. The next individual seems to be a little more down-to-earth, grounded, and sensitive to where you're coming from, as well as dealing with their own growing up. We're all growing up, including the people you might hate, okay? All the people you hate, they're still growing up in their own way, in their own path. And because everyone is still growing up, no matter how old or young they are, that's one of the things that makes being a human and dealing with other humans very difficult. So, be aware of that. But other possibilities do seem to be coming your way, so keep cool. Hello, Chris H. You've come on board with me via Keen.com. It's great to have you to appear on the Tarot Show today, which is absolutely wonderful. For those of you who don't know, I do work on Keen.com, I do work on LivePerson. There should be links below, take into account which particular website this is appearing on or whatever. But basically, just go to liveperson.com and search for Nick Dutch, probably all one word, okay? Same with Keen.com. Search for Nick Dutch, all one word, and basically you'll find me there. US times are normally available in the mornings. So, Chris, let's have a quick look and see basically what's coming through for you today. Right, you're asking more about your job. This is not necessarily something you normally focus in on. We've had some very in-depth email readings together, haven't we? Okay, but there's a feeling of jubilation. It's a very tentative feeling of jubilation. It's not necessarily a question of I can be absolutely everything and anything I ever wanted to be kind of feeling. But there's a sense of pride, getting there, getting stable, being happy, being respected, not necessarily admired, but just respected and mutual respect kicking in. Also, to get there, a rift or a difficulty will have to be healed between yourself and other people. There is something going on within the environment there, which is basically not tasting right, if you get my drift. It's just not feeling very good, as if there's some people who need to understand where you're coming from within the workplace. So, very tricky, but definitely doable, okay? Yeah, we've got more signs relating to interference further on, and also you'll need to keep yourself in control because it may get a little emotional. But on the other hand, we've got even more signs relating to a sense of pleasure. The Sun card literally means something sunny, something bright, something cheerful and jolly. Okay, and that coupled with the fact we got sign of satisfaction coming through here, again makes me think that you are still in the right place, and I wouldn't worry too much as to keeping the job, staying stable, and all the rest of that. Because it does look good and it does feel good. 83 Angley, you want me to read on yourself and Jared and see basically what's coming through there. Let's have a quick look. Let's just see what the reading says. One step at a time, as is traditional. 8-card relationship reading. That's the format for the start of question. Okay. There's a sense that there's some difficulties here, something you're powerless over, he's not connecting with you well enough, but there's also that wonderful, like, animalistic sense of there being passion there. You mentioned whether this was just an obsession. There is obsession there, which you have to be aware of, but I don't think it is just obsession. I think that there is something else going on in the background as well. He doesn't seem like a bad individual, but he's also someone who is struggling like mad with something. He's quite intelligent, he can be quite thoughtful, and there's a lot of thought-provoking feelings about where he is and what he's doing, but he's also trying to change. His main concern is maintaining stability, which I think is interesting because I think he doesn't feel like he is comfortable in himself, in his own skin. So yeah, there's difficulties with getting rapid progression, but there's still a feeling that there's going to be something going on here. You still want the change to happen quicker, don't you? I mean, you've got that pent-up desire. Oh, I want something to go there. That's another sign to suggest, yes, there is obsession there, but I don't feel that that's the whole story. Now, as we expand this, like short-term, mid-term, and long-term, okay, looking not too bad, especially in the long term. Nice strong earth signs. What else have we got there? Lightning struck tower reversed. Okay, lightning struck tower can also speak about getting a sense of freedom. Sometimes with the reverse message, it's more the House of God message rather than the destruction message. So essentially there is still a level of connection there, which is basically probably above and beyond that which you might get with a standard relationship. Good quantity of passion and drive. Slow progress in your short-term future though, okay? So you've got to be very aware it's going to be slow progress, because you're dealing with a difficult individual, and on your side of things, turn down the obsession side of things and just basically have some chill out time together and like to have some intelligent conversation with him, because he's not a bad individual, but he gets tied up with so many different things up here and in here that it all becomes a bit difficult. So be aware of that, okay? Okay, Hatfield 2004. Didn't we read about this via the internet recently? Situation with your daughter's father. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay. Let's have a quick look. We're again going to use the 8-card method, but we're not doing this as a relationship reading. We're doing this as a WTF is going on type situation reading, okay? Right. Okay. Alright, okay. You're very perplexed about this, because he should have really sorted his stuff out by this time in his life, realistically speaking, shouldn't he? Okay, new beginnings, yes, there's a potential for that, but there's tons of conflict, and yes, you're somehow involved in it. I don't feel that your story of having to deal with him is completely over, but I do sense a strong feeling of greater distance there, so it's going to get easier. Alright, sometimes it has to get harder before it gets easier. On his side of things, he's obviously making things get harder. He believes he's the one in control, but basically there's a sense of something cold there. Alright, he looks at his own problems. The 7 of Swords has got a lunar symbol on it. There's a sense of something cold, something very fragile, something very delicate and difficult, and the fact that he's trying against the odds, so he's making his own life worse. Alright, and he's only looking into his own problems and not yet being able to be a part of normal society. So all the other things he's doing, if you get my drift, is affecting his mind and stopping him from seeing life clearly. Alright, so that's very difficult. Progression isn't too stormy. You may still have to deal with him once in a while and basically just to, tell him to... If you get my drift, you know, keep that distance, which I feel he will start to listen to. I really do think he will start to listen to it, but this is when you got to be strong. And I think that he's going to try and sweet talk you, and I think that you can just carry on. You know, make sure he knows where you're coming from too. Vicky Lampool? Okay, you seem to have an issue with a little spirit problem, okay? The way you described it to me, I mean, sometimes a mild physical problem can literally do things which can make something strange seem to happen. The way you described it suggests to me a lot of things you can have a look at. I am not a medical practitioner, do not see this as medical advice. I will repeat that. I am not a medical practitioner, do not see this as medical advice. But essentially, it will be worthwhile seeing someone or talking to people about nutritional deficiencies, including B vitamins, allergies, or indeed digestive problems, as a possible hypothetical cause. The other issue is there does appear to be, from what I'm feeling, a bit of a strange energy around you, and yes, it does feel dark, it does feel difficult. I wouldn't go as far as to say that this is demonic in any way whatsoever, and it doesn't seem to be influencing you. It just feels like once in a while you get something which feels like a voice in your ear telling you something. Just learn to ignore it and learn to think about better, you know, focus on better, more spiritual things, and that's essentially the best way you can play things at the moment. Okay? Hende Jadafk? Is that how you pronounce it? I have no idea, but you're interested in the possibility that you might be a medium on the basis of strange spiritual experiences that you seem to be having at this present point in time, in this juncture in your life. Yeah, could well be. You know, I mean, sometimes we get these strange experiences and it points to the fact that we are, for whatever reason, more likely to have these strange experiences. Okay, I call them just strange experiences because that makes things a little better. Okay, for us to see in perspective. So let's have a quick look and see what the reading says about you. As is traditional, shuffling like a lunatic, and see whether the reading suggests that you have some kind of mediumship potential. Okay. Alright, well, the reading is not coming out with one singular answer, which is, you know, a bit sort of like, dear oh dear oh dear. But essentially, I feel that there is some kind of spiritual or mystical aspect of what is going on with you right now. I would say you need a lot more training and also grounding. There's so many earth signs which have appeared for you today, okay? I mean, I would expect like the Moon card or the Ace of Cups to turn up, but we haven't quite had that. Instead, we got signs here suggesting you need to do something to make yourself grounded, make yourself strong and stable, give yourself a routine, make sure that you've studied enough to be able to control what's basically happening, you know, bit by bit. Don't rush, okay? Don't rush any of this stuff. I don't know whether you're doing meditation, whether you're closing up or opening up your chakras, or whether you're actually, you know, doing something else. I mean, I would say that joining a group of people who are interested in mediumship and just staying there for a few weeks or a few months and seeing, obviously don't move in, obviously, you know, I'm not saying you move in with them. Just go to their meetings once a week or once a month or whatever it is, and just see what you can learn from them, knowing, of course, that they're not necessarily right, but they might point you in the right direction as to how to control and influence this stuff so that you can start to develop openness and all the rest of that. My personal impression from what I'm feeling is I would say that you're an empath with some mediumistical abilities, but there's also something else going on there suggesting projection rather than just reception. Alright, so maybe you're much more of the kind of person who can make a good occultist spiritualist rather than necessarily a mediumship spiritualist, someone who's more akin to invoking, summoning of spirit entities. That's the kind of thing which is coming through to my mind anyway, as to the variety of individual that you are. Very strong witchcraft orientation, maybe even look into Wicca, and not necessarily just as the religion, but more in terms of the magical traditions, to see whether they suit you. Okay? Sabba Wabba, you want to know how Johnny really feels for you? Let's have a quick look and see what the reading says. Okay, as far as your career question's concerned, you don't know what you want to do yet. Have you yet contacted a careers advisor? Okay, there are people out there who can help you. Or failing that, you've got to really start looking at your skills and the experience you've got as to which skills could work well in the workplace and which skills couldn't. And I think that's something you've got to really think about and think real hard about on the basis of past experience. I don't really feel comfortable taking into account what I'm feeling at the moment to be able to read on that side of things or to tell you. I shouldn't tell you what you have to do. Alright, I know you're intelligent, I know that you're wise, I know that you've got skills, and it's a question of working out how to deploy them. Alright, it's that simple. Now let's have a look and see about your relationship. Well, of course I said it's that simple. Of course it isn't that simple, is it? I mean, this is like real life stuff we're talking about here. Okay, how does he really feel about you? He's worried, he's concerned, he wants to make sure that something can happen, but he doesn't want to, because he doesn't want to create a failure. He wants to make sure that there can be a bond, a feeling of mutual agreement between yourself and him. He wants to create something beautiful and magical, but he doesn't know how. Alright, he's got feelings there. Sometimes he gets a little frustrated and he can't quite work out what to do, what to say, how to make something occur, and actually to bring about, boom, that moment when, things can start moving further forward. That's why, things are still, this is like the short-term future card. You know what this one means. You've had it coming through a bit in the past. It's caution, prudence, taking it slowly, but obviously there's still something positive there as well. But he's staying still. There's a solar message, okay, a solar message to that particular card. And that, literally refers to the sun being in the center of the solar system. So as far as the solar system is concerned, it's central, it's not moving. Alright, so that's what he's like. He thinks that the radiant glow of the relationship will carry everything on forever, hopefully. And he doesn't actually have to do anything apart from just sit there. Which is not good. But he's quite warm, okay? The warmth is there. So you've got to slowly bring him around, okay? Trying to get him to understand. Because the feelings appear to be there. But he doesn't want to push you away. He's terrified. Which is very weird, but he's not a weird individual. Don't get me wrong there. He's not weird. His mentality is. But again, signs of satisfaction further on down the line, signs of passion, signs of determination. If you can wake him up slowly out of this daze that he's in, I think you can get there. It's almost like you're like a fun-loving creature. You're a good time individual. He's more serious. So there's, you've got like a character clash there going on. But that can be a good thing, because opposites can attract. Alright, they can, really they can. Sometimes, you need to think more about, what else can you do to actually sort of bring about, similarities. Well, they grow with shared experiences. And then you can work out what you like, what your partner likes, and then trying to find that middle ground. Which is hard, because you've both got your needs, but I think you can make it happen, okay? I really think you can make it happen. Okay, well, that's all the readings for today. Don't forget, there's two main methods to actually sort of get your inquiries to me. I know there's a bit of a backlog, there's still a few more to go, but I've got very limited time to get these tarot shows done for each and every single one of you, okay? So bear that in mind. I've got to work for a living as well, and I've got loads of things going on, things with the family and all kinds of stuff happening. So, I need to, have a rigid quantity of time that I do for my tarot shows. Okay, if you want to have a private video tarot reading, okay, so not like the tarot show itself, but a private tarot show which only you can view, make sure you've got a YouTube account, which you can set up for free of charge from youtube.com, and also just go to my other website, and my other website is tarotreadingshop.co.uk. Not .com, .co.uk. So just tarotreadingshop.co.uk, and there you can purchase a reading from me, and there's drop down menus so you can select the time, and you can select which subjects you want to cover, and basically all kinds of great stuff is there. So get your ass to the tarotreadingshop.co.uk. I'm also selling email tarot readings from there as well for those of you who aren't registered with me. via Keen.com. Most of my email readings, yes, they're done by Keen.com, and I've had lots of great people coming back time and time again for their readings that way. But essentially, for those of you who don't want to use that service, and sometimes that happens, there's the tarot reading shop where you go to buy tarot readings. Alright, and don't forget the other website as well, which is for those people who want to sign up to actually work for me if they're great at internet promotion, and you want to have a profile so that you can then take calls and do maybe what I do and set up your own tarot show here on YouTube or on Daily Motion or on Blip.tv, and see if you can draw people to your own way of your own telephone site, so that you can then grab get an income from working, doing something you love, just like I do. Okay, so those are the promotions going on right now. I will definitely look forward to speaking to each and every single one of you, during the next show, and there will be a next show. For the moment, I'm just putting these out once a week, variable days between Tuesday and Thursday, because I've got time and task management issues just like everybody else on the face of the planet, and that's the way things stand right now. Keep your requests coming in. Okay, very important, via nickdutchtarot@gmail.com. Okay, nickdutchtarot@gmail.com. And for those of you just on YouTube who just want to send through a private message on the YouTube channel, Nick Dutch Tarot, you're perfectly free to do that as well. Okay, not War and Peace, just a few lines, not just one line, no general readings, no questions about pregnancy, medical matters, childbirth, okay? Because I don't do those things, okay? And there are a few other minor things I don't quite feel comfortable about doing as well, okay? But, keep your requests coming through. I'm still available on Keen.com, still available on LivePerson.com. For those of you in the United Kingdom, I'm also available on Kooma.co.uk, KOOMA.co.uk, and my PIN number is 2483, and I'm available in the mornings. Okay? So there's lots of wonderful ways to get in touch with Nick Dutch. Speak again soon. God bless.